Boys. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing the effects of sugar. These effects are not going to be anything scientifically reinforced, although I'm sure they are. These are just going to be the effects of sugar from my own personal experience. Now, I've been on a bike for 35 minutes or 34 minutes and 55 seconds. About to be 35 minutes. And the reason why I've been on here for so long is that I feel terrible. Terrible. I feel sick, like nausea, itchy, tired. And the reason being, dehydrated. The reason being is that I've eaten a lot of sugar. And you may be saying, Jeff, why would you eat so much sugar to the point that you get into this state? Boys, I don't normally eat any sugar. Alright, the sugar I eat is apples and peanut butter. Both my girlfriend's here. She'll bake an apple pie or rhubarb crumble, but she'll do that using homemade ingredients, using naturally occurring sugars. She won't pour a bunch of glucose, fructose syrup in there. Now, I was recently in Bosnia on a little trip. I was building some houses and travelling around quite a bit as well. During that period of time, I received some Mars bars. Didn't buy them, they just came into my possession. And I don't know what the food regulations are like in Bosnia. I don't know if glucose, fructose syrup occurs in a lot of their foods. I can imagine in their processed candy bars, chocolate bars, probably is the case. Anyhow, I didn't feel like eating chocolate there because I don't normally eat chocolate. The only chocolate I do eat is like 100% or 98% dark chocolate. But I bought these bars back with me, these bars from Bosnia. I've eaten 3. I ate one after breakfast, I ate one around lunchtime, and then I just ate one around an hour ago. Now I ate them earlier and I thought, this is great. I'm getting all the sugar in me, I feel so energetic. I feel alive, I've been working well today, I've been having no real issues with the sugar. But now, I've eaten the 3rd one and I feel terrible. I don't know why. I mean, I know why. I know I have ideas as to why. And that led me to wanting to create a video whereby I can discuss the adverse impacts of sugar on your body. Now, that was the backstory as to why I got to this point. I've written down in my hand a bunch of talking points. Just because after taking this sugar, I feel like I've got no energy, I feel sick. As I said, dehydrated, all these different symptoms. So, I wanted to firstly discuss the effects of sugar on the body. Now, sugar by itself, I'm talking cane sugar, sugar that occurs in dates, sugar that you can eat in a banana, sugar that you can get out of apricots, out of orange juice, these types of naturally occurring sugars. In okay quantities, they can be good for you. They can be very good for you. I remember when I used to play rugby, half time, I used to drink orange juice, and if I'm being honest, I used to eat one of the small packs of Jaffa cakes. Jaffa cakes, if you're not from the UK, are like a small cake with jam in the middle, like a sweet jam, and then with chocolate on top. I used to eat that for energy, because I'd be running for around 35 minutes, 40 minutes, I'd be exhausted. Half time would come and stretch, spend time with the boys, drink a lot of water, and then eat loads of Jaffa cakes and orange juice as well. And sugar for me in that moment gave me a lot of energy, gave me exactly what I needed. When I was doing marathons, I used to take with me bananas and apples. I'd do the marathon, I'd get around 15 kilometers in, I'd have a banana. Around 25 kilometers in, I'd have an apple. Around 35 kilometers in, I'd have another banana. And then I just keep going for the rest of the marathon then. Some people even use gels. I never used them. I mean, I used them a couple of times. I didn't like them. They made my mouth taste like, I could feel it on my taste buds and I felt sick, like the gel kind of hung around here. in my body, wasn't nice. But fruits, I found, perhaps because they are naturally occurring, enhance my performance. Now, I'm saying this because sugars are not, in and of themselves, they're not intrinsically bad. They are an essential nutrient that our body needs. We need sugar. We evolved to eat sugar. That's why sugar tastes so good. Our brains have evolved. I don't know this. I'm not talking I'm not backed up by some scientific paper, but I bet there's a scientific paper out there that will reinforce what I'm about to say. Sugars, our brains have evolved to eat them. We find sugar so satisfying. I can think of a couple of reasons for this. Firstly, naturally occurring sugars are not found in very high quantities. You may find, as I mentioned, some in fruit, some in vegetables, and that's pretty much it. Naturally, that's pretty much it. Fruit and vegetables is where you get your sugar from. Now you eat some fruit, sugar gives you a rapid burst of energy, which when you were a caveman or a hunter-gatherer and you are relying on energy reserves to keep going, and you find this concentrated source of energy, i.e. sugar in the form of a fruit, you'll eat it. And your brain has to program itself to find this sugar rewarding. So you eat more of it. And so you eat more of it and more of it and more of it until you eat all the apples on the tree. All the apples on the tree are now gone. Because that hunter-gatherer needed all of that sugar. They're hunting all day. If you're a woman, you're gathering all day. You need that sugar. Now, our brains had to evolve in that climate. And now we are existing in a new world whereby we don't need that much sugar. You have got access to all the food that you could ever possibly want. And sugar doesn't need to be even in there. So that's how I live my life now. I barely ever eat sugar. Rarely. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, it is predominantly in fruits. Now, or when my girlfriend makes something. Now, sugar, as I was saying, we found in naturally occurring places, not very well concentrated because it's natural. Your brains evolved to be able to tolerate this amount of sugar, and your body's evolved to tolerate this amount of sugar. And this, again, is contingent upon where in the world you are located. For example, if you are a person from the desert in Africa, or the deserts of Mexico, you perhaps, with regards to your body, may be more susceptible to developing diabetes because your ancestors evolved eating less sugar, and therefore they will have a lower tolerance to the sugar, so then when they do eat it in, let's say, a Western country, they can develop diabetes quicker. Just an idea. I'd imagine that it is the case. I don't know. I'm not a scientist. I can just imagine that to be true. Now, the reason that I'm bringing this up is that sugar has a massive impact on your body's blood pressure, on your body's weight, and also on your body's insulin levels. The levels of sugar in the blood, that's the insulin. I'm beginning with the body because that to me is where the effects of sugar are most evident. When you see somebody who eats too much sugar, they're typically fat, overweight, obese. I feel overweight, obese right now, actually, after just 3. I feel lethargic. And I guess that's a feeling that's intrinsic. I'm not actually overweight, I'm not actually obese. I feel that way. Now, I'm thinking there's a YouTuber out there who goes by the name of Avocado Nick. Nick Avocado. Nick Avocado is a fat, a big guy. He won't mind me calling him fat. He's fat. His whole videos are like him eating things. He just eats loads of sugars, basically eats loads of carbs, loads of fast release carbs, sugars. He eats those, super fat. He's the stereotypical sugar consumer. Now, sugar leads to weight gain. Weight gain leads to decrease levels in activity because you gain weight, your joints hurt, your bones hurt, it's not natural. You feel tired, you're getting more out of breath, easier, you therefore want to exercise less, you gain more weight, and it's a spiral that continues. And oftentimes the root cause is sugar because your brain is operating on an increased susceptibility to this sugar. As I mentioned at the beginning, cavemen evolved to desire the consumption of sugar. And we are now existing in a time where we have endless access to sugar. And sugar is so cheap. Sugar is so cheap nowadays, and we are drawn to it based upon these animalistic, natural instincts that lie within all of us because of how our ancestors evolved. And then you get these people that just eat sugar and eat sugar. I was one of them. Eat sugar, and they gain loads of weight. That weight continues to increase, as does their level of sugar consumption, because sugar, as any drug, and I'm using the word drug loosely here, but it is a drug, it's a performance-enhancing drug, 100%. Sugar, as with any drug, can become addictive. Humans can become addicted to anything that increases your dopamine levels. Sugar, I don't know if it's scientifically true, but I bet that sugar increases your dopamine levels. And if it does, you can get addicted to sugar. And if you can get addicted to sugar, you can become overweight or obese. You don't have to be addicted to sugar to become these things, but of course, that addiction, due to the high calorie content of sugar, now I know technically 1 gram of sugar has the same calories as 1 gram of protein. I know this, okay? But 1 gram of protein won't, I'm going to go into more into it. Sugar will also spike your insulin levels, as I mentioned. So sugar not only will make you overweight, but it will spike your insulin. Now my mom was, she won't mind me sharing the story, she was pre-diabetic. And the reason was that she was consuming a lot of sugar. She was 55 years old when she found out she was pre-diabetic. I recommended no carb diet, cutting out all sugars, all carbohydrates, until her insulin levels returned to that of a non-diabetic person. The doctors also recommended this, and so she did it. She joined a no carb club, like a pre-diabetic club type thing, to track her progress. She lost loads of fucking weight. As soon as she cut that sugars out, loads of weight. The first few days were terrible for her. I've done the carnivore diet, I've done the ketogenic diet. I understand how addictive sugars can be, and so does my mom, because she quit them. She quit sugars. Within a week, she started feeling better. Within a month, she started losing weight. Within 8 months, she was no longer pre-diabetic, and rather, she was back to being a healthy person again. Sugars will kill you. They are poison for your body. Now, I know, I've said at the beginning of the video, they are naturally occurring. They can even be a performance-enhancing drug, and they can. But when you're eating sugar that is found in white bread, in chocolate, in cereal, in candy, anything where sugar is one of the predominant ingredients, that is not naturally occurring sugar. They are not squeezing that shit out of an orange, okay? They are processing and refining corn or cane sugar, and they're squeezing it in there to get as much sugar into 1 gram as they possibly can. And then they're feeding it to you. Fun fact, I don't know if this is true, but I imagine this is true, and again I'm going to say it, and I'm sure if you research it, this will turn out to be true. I bet that they used corn syrup or high fructose syrup on pigs. I bet pigs, I'm talking about those big fat pigs that you eat for pork, I bet those pigs are fattened using corn syrup or high fructose, glucose, whatever the fuck it's called, syrup. I bet they feed those pigs that because it makes you so fat. It's so cheap. It's cheaper than water. For fuck's sake, it's cheaper than water. Okay? That is how cheap it is. And I bet they shovel that into pigs. And that is exactly what they put in the foods that are processed. When you were eating processed sugars, you were eating what they feed to pigs, to fatten pigs up. I bet that is true. I don't know. I don't know if it is, okay? But I can take a very strong guess that that is true. So, sugars, they make you gain weight. They spike your insulin. And lastly, they lead to a high blood pressure. My family have had a history of heart attacks. I'm not going to say who's died and whatever, but I'm going to say that on my dad's side, every person in the family has had a heart attack. Of the 4 people I know in my dad's family, my dad, my aunt, my nan, my granddad, 3 of them have died of a heart attack. The other one has had the heart attack, almost died, and is still alive. Thank God, praise be to God, that they are still alive, but that has happened. All of those people were obese. All of those people consumed a lot of sugar. All of those people had high blood pressure. All of them. Now you may say, Jeff, surely it's their lack of exercise. Perhaps 1 or 2 of them smoked. One of them smoked, not just one of them. One of them smoked. One of them did drugs. Maybe these are the things that led them to their demise. Maybe. Or maybe it was the sugar that was in their body. Or maybe if they weren't addicted to sugar in the first place, maybe they wouldn't have become so obese, so gluttonous. Maybe. I don't know. I'm just taking a gander at the possibility that sugar was one of the contributing factors in that scenario, because sugar, and I know this is scientifically true because I can recall this from my time doing physiotherapy, sugar leads to a high blood pressure. Sugar does. It increases your blood pressure. I can't remember exactly how. I don't know the exact causality behind it. I would imagine that sugar, because it is concentrated energy, especially glucose, is concentrated forms of energy. It's one of the most fast-releasing energies you can possibly get. You eat sugar versus protein. Protein will sit there in your body and it will digest over a period of hours. Sugar will get in there and just quick release, boom, 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 boom. And that's why your insulin spikes. That quick release of the sugar invariably leads to an increased and elevated heart rate. That elevated heart rate, if you're continuing to consume high quantities of sugar, will remain high. That elevated heart rate, therefore, will lead to a higher blood pressure. It will lead to a higher resting heart rate. It will lead to cardiovascular disease. It will lead to heart attacks. It will lead to strokes. I'm not even going to go into what sugar does to your kidneys and to your livers, okay? Because I'm not a scientist, but I know, once again, it's just came to me. It's not even on my hand. It's just came to me that sugar, and I can't recall the names of the studies, but I can recall reading them during my time doing physiotherapy, also negatively impacts your liver and your kidneys. Okay? Sugar does this. That's just to your body. I haven't even spoken about your mind yet. This is just your body. Okay? So in the time that I've been discussing your body, I don't know how long this is so far. Let me see. I'm on 52 minutes. This is probably around 18 minutes long so far. In this time that I've been talking to you, I've only discussed what sugar does to your body. And I've just mentioned that it increases your blood pressure, it causes you to gain weight, it can lead to diabetes. I haven't even discussed diabetes. Oh yeah, I have, with my mum. Diabetes. Leads to diabetes through the increased elevation of insulin within your blood sugar, and also kidney disease, liver disease. 5 things. I've just mentioned that sugar does to your body. It's fucking crazy, okay? Now, these things lead to heart attacks, strokes, cardiovascular disease. Now, I'm going to stop talking about the body. I feel like I've beat that drum now. I think you guys understand the effects of sugar on the body. Now, let me go on to the effects of sugar on the mind, on the brain. Okay, let me tell you, or not tell as in to dictate to you, because I want this to be an open discussion. If you disagree with me, if you think, Jeff, yeah, true, but this guy uses sugar for this reason and look at how enhanced his performance is. Yes, Jeff, sugar can do that, but sugar can also do blah, 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 blah. Let me know in the comments. It's a discussion, okay? I'm just giving you guys some personal experiences. As I said, none of this is coming from studies, none of this is coming from any scientific journals, at least for the most part it's not. I'm just telling you what my opinion is on sugar, based on personal experience, which of course is the best testament to have to anything. Now, that's sugar on the body. Now we're going to go on to sugar on the mind. So, sugar on the mind. I've got to read my own handwriting. Here we are, I've got positive. Concentration. Sugar boosts your concentration, bolsters it. As I said, I played rugby. I used to use it when I played rugby. I used it during my marathons. Now in those instances, that wasn't for concentration, but that enhanced my mood. That enhanced my energy, that topped up my energy reserves. I was ready to go straight away. With regards to concentration, I'm referring to if you've got a 30-minute test, a test that you know is multiple choice, it's going to take 30 minutes to complete. And before that test, you say to yourself, I'm going to strategically drink 1 cup of black coffee, and then I'm going to strategically eat 1 pack of Jelly Babies, 1 pack of Haribos. Whatever your sweet sugar of choice is, you will probably perform better in that test due to that sugar. Sugar, for me at least, enhances my concentration. If I'm going in for a job interview, if I'm going to go and speak to an important client, if I'm going to go and perform at my best, I know myself, I've lived long enough and tried so many diets that I can absolutely and confidently say it's not a placebo, or if it is, it's the best fucking placebo I've ever taken. Sugar enhances my performance, my concentration. It's like I plug into something else. I eat that sugar, I feel it flow through. I don't actually feel it flow through me, but I feel the effects of the sugar within me through enhanced concentration. So there's a benefit of sugar on the mind. Now I'm going straight back to the shit. Sugar causes massive mood crashes. As I said, I don't know any scientific papers about this, but sugar, I am almost positive, due to the way that we evolved, would lead, especially in enhanced quantities of consumption, to spikes in dopamine. Now, boys, if your dopamine levels, let's say your brain's producing, okay, maybe your girlfriend's nice to you, maybe you receive some compliments at work, dopamine's going up a little bit, then you go and you eat a chocolate McFlurry and a vanilla milkshake from McDonald's, I bet your dopamine is going to go up here. Your dopamine is going to skyrocket. I can imagine, because of the way our ancestors evolved to have a reward, a mental reward for consuming that sugar, because it's good for your body back in those days. So your dopamine skyrockets, and when it goes up, it's got to come back down. And I bet it doesn't even go down to flatline at what it was. I bet it actually goes beyond that point. So let's say if this is the line, girlfriend compliments you, compliment at work, McDonald's, I bet it goes below that line of regularity, and I'm spacing on the word, it's quite late, I'm quite tired. I bet the sugar goes down to an even lower level than baseline. You are now down here in your dopamine, I would imagine, and this is a crash, an energy crash. You've consumed all the sugar that you just ate, your body's used it all up, and so your dopamine has come down here and it's telling you to get more sugar. It's saying, I need more sugar, I need more sugar. Normally about, I'd imagine, an hour and a half to 2 hours, and I think this is true, an hour and a half to 2 hours after you eat the sugar, you crave more. That's why if you eat Lucky Charms for your breakfast, I bet that lasts in your body for 2 hours before you're hungry again. If you eat a few pieces of toast for breakfast, toasted bread, I suppose you would be hungry for, again in 2 hours max. Because these things are full of sugar, and the sugar boosts you up, and then it sends you straight back down, and then your body, your dopamine receptors are saying, oh, I need more sugar. I need to feel that dopamine rise again. That is one of the effects of sugar on the mind, mood crashes, due to spikes in your dopamine. Now, I don't know what that word is, but moving on from mood crashes, I've got nausea. Nausea is something I'm currently experiencing. I feel sick. Do you ever eat so much candy, so much chocolate, so many sweets, that you just feel sick? Like something inside of you is bubbling up and you feel terrible. You try to drink some water, it makes you feel worse. That's how I feel. Okay, now, you may be thinking, Jeff, you've been a bitch. You've only had one chocolate bar. I get it, okay? I've had just one recently. I've had 3 today. And I know that's not a lot for some people. I also had a can of Coke. I had a Coke on the way back, so I've had a lot of sugar. This is unusual for me to consume this much sugar because I have these biases against sugar that I normally just avoid it. Now, I feel like shit. I feel sick. That's why I've been on the bike now for an hour, because I wanted to train legs. I tried doing some squats to warm up, and every time I squat, I felt like there was sugar being propelled up inside of me. I felt super sick. So I had to stop. And so I had to bring my ass onto this stupid bike, which I've now been doing for an hour and 51 minutes, because I need to exercise, otherwise I'm going to be in bed fidgeting all night because I had so much sugar. Okay? So, yeah, nausea. Sugar makes you feel sick. I don't even have to go into any rationale behind that because you will have experienced that yourself. Too much sugar makes you feel sick. Now, entertain this idea for me. Entertain what I'm about to say. If too much sugar makes you feel sick, think about other things. When you overconsume them, you feel sick. Think about it. If you overconsume lettuce, do you feel sick? I don't. I've eaten a lot of lettuce. I've eaten 2 heads of lettuce before. I've been fine. If you overconsume alcohol, do you feel sick? If you overconsume bananas, do you feel sick? If you overconsume cigarettes, do you feel sick? If you overconsume garlic, do you feel sick? If you overconsume cocaine, do you feel sick? Now, I've used 3 very evident examples here, okay, because I'm trying to drum home one point, and that is that you feel nauseous. What I understand about sugar, you feel nauseous when you overconsume sugar, because sugar, boys, is a drug. You smoke too much weed. What happens to your body? You whiten, you throw up, because you feel sick. You are overdosing. Sorry, I thought I heard vibrations. I was checking my girlfriend wasn't calling me. You are overdosing on marijuana. Now I know, you can't overdose on weed, you can't overdose on... You can, that's why you YT. You've got too much THC in your system, your body can't handle it, you throw up, okay? Don't go crazy in the comments, potheads, I don't want to... They will not be watching this fucking video. I'm not watching this video. I think my audience is a bit different. But that's what happens. You overconsume cocaine. What happens? You overconsume alcohol. What happens? Have you ever smoked a pack of cigarettes on a go? You smoke 20 cigarettes in one night. Have you ever done it? A night out, you have a whole pack. You feel fucking terrible. You feel sick. I've thrown up consuming that many cigarettes. There's a video on YouTube I saw of a father who saw his son smoking. So he forced his son to smoke 40 cigarettes. His son threw up. Nicotine poisoning. It might not be on there now. It was about 5 or 6 years ago when YouTube was a bit of a wilder place. Was it? I'm old now. It might have been about 10 years ago when I was 14. Jeez. Anyhow, nicotine can poison you, alcohol can poison you, cocaine can poison you, marijuana can poison you, sugar can poison you. That's the point. That's why you feel nauseous. Overdosing on sugar. In my opinion, I don't know, I'm not a scientist. It's a man with a brain who has consumed too much sugar and feels sick. Okay, and lastly, what have I got? What does this even say? nausea, morning, something. Give me a moment, boys. Give me one moment. Memory impairment. Memory impairment. That's what that has to say. Yeah, memory impairment. Why have I written that down? Let me think about my own personal examples, because I'm only speaking from personal examples here. So I don't want to make some shit up and just start talking without firstly thinking about what I'm going to say and why I'm going to say it. Memory impairment. I used the example of sugar enhancing concentration and that 30-minute test earlier. If that test became a 3-hour test, I would totally change my approach. I would not take sugar beforehand. The reason being is that, as I mentioned, spike in dopamine, crash in dopamine. On this crash, your concentration is going to be fucked. Your concentration is going to just be nada, nothing. There's going to be absolutely nothing down here. Nothing. Have you ever experienced a euphoric high? I'm not talking about drugs. I'm talking about a moment in your life where the stars align spiritually around you. You feel as though you are almost in heaven. Life feels too good. And then after that, you may feel a depressive state. You may think, I wish I was back in that moment of awe. I loved it. That's because your dopamine is now down here. Okay? And in this moment, you're going to be experiencing a lack of concentration because of your dopamine, but also because of the drop in your blood sugar levels. Now, I mentioned that I took sugar when I was doing the marathon. Natural sugars, but I still consume them when I was doing the marathon. Because, I can't remember the word, there's a system inside of you that you need to consume sugars in order to keep high. And I'm spacing on the word again, but there's a word to describe this system. And you need carbohydrates to replenish it. Someone will know what it's called. There's that system in your body, and essentially, if you take sugars, you come all the way up here, and then due to the lack of sugar in your blood, you then come down here, your energy levels drop, your energy reserves are just plummeted, your body's craving more sugar, your memory becomes impaired. That's true. I'm sure you'll experience it when you consume too much caffeine, and then 10 hours later, your body starts to go, need more caffeine. Or you smoke for a year, a few months, you quit smoking, the next day your body goes, I need the cigarettes. And when you think about it as cigarettes, your memory, you can't remember what you said yesterday, you can't remember what, I've smoked for the majority of my life. Fun fact, the majority of my life I smoked. I still use nicotine products now. I don't smoke, but I still use them because I've tried, I've come off cigarettes, I've quit cigarettes many times, and I always come back to them. I can go a month without smoking, 2 months without smoking. The most I've gone is around 6 months without smoking. And every day, my memory, it gets better eventually, but every day my memory is just cloudy. Like there's a big fog in front of me. I can't quite get through the fog to get my brain to where it wants to be because I'm lacking that nicotine. It's the same thing with sugar. If you boys have ever tried the carnivore diet or the ketogenic diet, you will realise how addicted to sugar you actually are. How addicted to carbohydrates you are. Your brain is almost operating on 50% without these sugars. It's crazy. It's a crazy realisation that you are addicted to a drug without even ever knowing it was even a drug. I'd recommend everybody should try one of these low-carb diets because it's a real eye-opener to your body and how your body works. And so that's the final point, memory impairedness. You're operating with a 50% brain capacity, with a cloud of smoke around you, trying to navigate your own thoughts because you haven't got the sugar. If you quit sugar, you'll experience that. Because, boys, you're addicted to sugar. So, anyway, this video is super long now. I don't even know if it's recording. I'm going to check in a minute. I hope it is. But I just wanted to let you know the effects of sugar on your body and on your mind. I'm going to be on here for another 5-10 minutes or so. I'll whack this on as one of my most recent uploads, so I'll put this ahead of the queue and we'll see what you guys think. A bit of a different one to normal, but an important topic because I feel like shit. And I was sitting there thinking, I hate sugar. I don't hate it. As I said, I consume it. I don't hate it. If I hated it, I wouldn't touch it. I hate most drugs, so I don't touch drugs. I mean, when I'm saying drugs here, I'm talking about illegal substances. I don't take paracetamol or ibuprofen, or I don't take any medicinal drugs either. I just don't take them. I don't need them. I'm a healthy young man. I don't need to take drugs, so I don't take them. If I hated sugar, I wouldn't take sugar. But I don't hate sugar. So I do take sugar. And I've taken a lot of sugar today, and I feel like shit. That was the point of making this video, to inform you guys as to the adverse impacts of sugar, because I feel like a lot of times people just don't know. These are just topics that people don't discuss at home. Nobody's ever going to sit down for 35 minutes, 40 minutes and discuss their personal effects of sugar. Nobody's going to do that. Most people will not even clock, firstly, the effect of sugar on their life. Nobody will even clock that sugar had anything to do with any of these experiences that I've just discussed, any of these adverse impacts. They will not relate sugar to it at all. And then even if they did, finding somebody that is willing to openly discuss those experiences personally, not just saying, I read this on this Wikipedia page or this Facebook post. I don't have social media. This is just thoughts. These are just thoughts that are occurring to me in real time, or if they're on my hand, 5 minutes before I put the camera down. Okay? I mean, I was on here for 30 minutes before I even put you guys on, so. Yeah, that's the end of the video, boys, okay? I just wanted to just spread awareness about sugar, really, and about its adverse consequences. Hope you enjoyed the video, boys. And that's me going to sign off. So, hasta mañana, mis gringos. In fact, I'll call the cycling there, and I'll do a bit of yoga and go for a shower. So, 1 hour and 12 minutes. Alright? Thanks very much for watching, boys. Hasta mañana, mis gringos. Adios.